This is the drift pad you would receive. Unfolding it once to see that you have the whole surface. It's been pre-cut. I considered releasing this, and I do offer it the plain sheet, not cut. But I do offer it cut just because some of my pre-cut lines, as you can see, were not completely accurate. So I do offer these sheets pre-cut. Probably ship to you something like this, and you'll see there's a bunch of cuts. After I did the design, I changed a little bit, so you can see this yellow line that's supposed to have an underscore. I moved the underscore about an inch over, and then if you have the uncut sheet, anytime you see the red is going to be where it's a solid cut through, and then the orange is just a score. So I cut this stuff with just an X-Acto knife. If you haven't used an X-Acto knife a lot, you probably will end up cutting yourself. That's why I offer the pre-cut sheets. But the corrugated plastic is cool because you can just do a score, so it's not going all the way through. And then I discovered with this material I can get the basic forms that I needed for the drift pad, and it works pretty well. And then this surface, so this is basically sign material. I found a printer that has kind of a nice matte finish that gave me the slick surface that I needed. The plain material, not printed, is still pretty good. It's you'd have to touch it to kind of feel the difference, but it just lets the cars drift a lot better. So this sheets, I have a few of these sheets printed up. I'm going to be doing some different versions, but just looking at it, you can see there's so I mentioned the red, it's cut all the way through, and then the orange is just a score, and then the yellow is an underscore, and you'll see there's a double yellow line here. That is a double underscore, and then I took out the piece, the extra piece, so then this thing can flex up that way or down. If you're looking at the finished assembled product, this that piece just angles down. And when you get your drift pad, it'll come like this, folded up. It's kind of a pain to ship a whole 24-inch piece, but I did find that I already have some boxes ready to ship these if they were about half the size. So they come bent up, but then when you get it, the assembly is pretty straightforward. You don't need an X-Acto unless you bought the plain uncut sheet. If you bought the cut sheet, you just need some tape. You don't have to have a huge one like this. I think any kind of tape will do, but I'm going to do an assembly with this tape. So assembly is pretty straightforward. You can take these two pieces, and those actually get attached to each other. So, oh shoot, I screwed that up. Try Try not to do that. Okay, so these two pieces tape down to the top surface. And that's the most important piece. We're almost done, actually. So now you can see we have the basic structure already done. And then this piece, it's kind of optional. In my videos, you'll see I do use this piece, but really, we just need a surface that's about 1.5 inches taller than the bottom of the ramp. I'll go ahead and put this up. For this, we can also just tape it. Tape the edges here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Kind of screwed that up. And then I'll probably want one more piece near the middle, right here. Put a couple pieces on that guy. Then we have our back wall. And then we're basically ready. The one last piece you're going to want is your ramp. So this is just a regular piece of Hot Wheels track. I slid I slid it inside so it comes a lot closer up, and then there is a little slit in the pre-cut sheets that I added. We're just going to slide it in there, and I like to keep this piece adjustable. Like the tracks, they work different with different cars, and they will not work with every single car that you have. So I'll do a little demo with some cars. Fast four-wheel drive, this guy seems to always work really well, and this track was actually kind of built for its for this car. It just seems to work best. I always test with it. And as you can see, it's not going to work perfect every time. That's kind of the fun of it. You can try with different tracks. And the most important thing about the drift pad is this piece where the car is actually doing its drifting. This should be very level. Like if I had a level, you'd probably see it's almost completely level. I designed this track so it is angled a little bit back. This way it's completely level, but it does angle back a little bit. That kind of accentuates the drift, lets it drift a little longer. If the whole thing was tilted up this way, you would notice that the car really wouldn't drift very well. The rear end would never really kick out. So with this design, it's really made for the rear end to really kick out. Let's as much as possible. So you can see we just hit the wall there a little bit, and so I can adjust the track here to maximize or minimize how much it's actually drifting. I call this the angle of approach. And the cars really should not be traveling very fast. If I do a fast one, you see, it really doesn't drift at all. In my videos, the car's normally like barely drifting at all. And I'm just gonna add a little piece of tape, a couple pieces of tape. See the front here, it's kind of hanging off the ground. That may or may not happen on yours. And then the other thing is I do want this guy up a little bit more. Then let's see what we got here. Okay, it's going pretty good. And like I said, all cars they work a little bit differently. So that guy's working pretty good. And one little trick, if the car isn't drifting that well, what you could do is modify the front left wheel a little bit. You don't always need to, but I'm just going to rub, because this is the wheel that it's basically, you want it to pivot on a little bit. So if you put tape, this is a sticker, just a regular sticker, you probably use tape too. Sticker might work a little better. I can just rub this a few times just to make it slightly more tacky than the other wheels, and it'll probably wear off, in a few runs, but it can help it drift. So that was a little too slow, a little faster. Got our drift, and then you can easily add another orange track or whatever you got to the end of this thing. But this one's working pretty good. A little too slow. That's just right. And so that's the basic setup. You need a little bit of tape, some orange track, and that's about it.